And today, we will talk about the guidelines on how to grade an essay test. We all know that essay tests are useful for teachers when they want students to select, organize, analyze, synthesize, and evaluate information. In other words, they rely on the upper level of Bloom's taxonomy. And one of the drawbacks of essays is that humans do the scoring first, right? And essay grading requires more substantial and resources to score. And secondly, the grading process is subjective to some extent because we are the one who try to make our own ideas in a way that we put our personal experience. And third drawback to essay grading is that the content may be assessed deeply using more depth of knowledge, but it is not assessed broadly. And that's why at the end of these lessons, the learner are able to comprehensively, fully understand the concept of grading an essay test, evaluate the various methods as well as the structure for scoring an essay test, and apply and create criteria and rubrics based on the type of essay test, the methods, and the grading of essay of the student. In addition, also, learning outcomes are measured effectively with essay items. As far as I remember, according to Guland and Lean, there are 12 complex learning outcomes that can be measured effectively with essay items. And this will help us on how to grade correctly an essay test. So in these learning outcomes by Guland and Lim, we can use this to explain the cause and effect relationship. We can describe the application of principles, the present relevant arguments. We can also formulate tenable hypotheses, state necessary assumptions. We can also describe the limitations of data, explain the method and procedure, integrate learning in different areas, create original form, as well evaluate the worth of ideas. So using these 12 complex learning outcomes, for us as a student, we can avoid, a more subjective ideas, a more subjective essay. And we can also assess our learnings based on such criteria that can be fitted for the teachers to grade our essay very well. But before grading an essay test, first we need to consider the following type of essay test. First, we have the extended response essay item. According to its definition, it is one that allows for an in-depth sampling of student knowledge, thinking process, and problem-solving behavior relative to a specific fact. From this allows students to select what they wish to include in order to answer the questions. For example, let's make questions. Let's say, in Of Mice and Men, was Brian's killing of Lenny justified? Explain your answer. So from this, the student is given the overall topic, but they are free to use their own judgment and integrate outside information to help to support their opinion. And the second one is the restricted response essay item. It is the one where the examinee is required to provide limited response, just a limited response based on a specified criteria or criterion for answering such questions. So basically, this type of essay test limit what the student will discuss in the essay based on the wording of the questions. let's say, for example, state the main difference between Brian and Stephanie's belief about federalism. So it is a restricted response. So what the student need is to write about has been expressed to them within the questions. So they are so this restricted response essay item basically give the student a clue as well as train the student to make an ideas that are concrete or concise. The next one is all about content versus expression. So this is the topic also that need to learn or that need to know by the teachers or by the student who are grading an essay test. So it is frequently claimed that an essay items allow the student to present his or her knowledge and understanding. More often or not, factors like expressions, grammar, spelling, and the like are evaluated in relation to the content. So if the teacher has attempted to develop student skills in expression, and if these learning outcomes are included in the table of specification, assessment of such skill is just right and valid. So this evaluation can be specified in scoring an essay test. The method in scoring essay, the distractor in scoring essay, as well as the two ways of scoring essay is one of the example that we can use or the teachers can use on how to grade student essay. So in the method in scoring essay test, it is critical that the teacher prepare in advance a detailed ideal answer. And another one, a student paper should be scored anonymously and that all answers to a given item be scored one at a time, rather than grading each total separately. And in the structure in scoring essay test, basically it's just all about the handwriting, the style, the grammar, the knowledge of the student, and the neatness that could influence the subjectivity of an essay. And the third one is the two ways of scoring an essay test. So we have two ways. It could be holistic scoring or analytic scoring. Basically, you can just use this or choose what could be the best fitted in your criteria. So in holistic thinking, in this type, a total score is assigned in each essay item based from the teacher's general impression or overall assessment. So holistic scoring is much more general. And the second one is the analytic scoring. So in this type, the essay is scored in terms of components, such as the way how the authors or the student execute his ideas and link it to her or his topic. So from that point of view, the general guideline is in scoring essay tests to avoid subjectivity is first, the teachers or we should decide what factors constitute a good answer before administering an essay question. Explain these factors in the test item. Read all the answer to a single essay questions before reading other questions. And also reread essay answer a second time. After initial scoring, we can also use specific guidelines in scoring essay tests to avoid subjectivity. Because the inherent subjectivity in essay grading can be lessened but not eliminated. So, there are a lot of guidelines help us to improve fairness and consistency the next time we are grading an essay. For example, let's say we can introduce standardized scoring criteria such as the rubric, and that standardized test like the SAT, use them to score writing samples. We can use them to score writing samples. We can either stick with one or modify as your expectation for your student read. And the second one, we can also choose to share the rubric with our student for each paper, indicating where they are in each criteria. And basically, teachers train all the students in using the predetermined scoring rubrics to increase interreliability. We could also be even want to give them a sample essay to score or to ensure that the outcome is the same or at least very close to how you have evaluated it. But when using a rubric, it is best to read through the answers once before evaluating a grade. Because the second time through, we can determine where it fails for each of the criteria. And grade a given question for all students before moving on the next essay questions. We should also always maintain notes while grading each question to improve consistent point deductions between students. And after grading an essay test, don't be reluctant to go back and review assessment for consistency. In review, to assess the depth of knowledge, an essay question is an excellent choice. So, AC grading can be difficult and extremely time-consuming. However, grading essays are subjective, and we should be very careful on grading such essay or creating an essay because it reduces test reliability. And we should also remember that if we are in a large class setting with multiple task grading essay, we should develop strategies to improve inter-rater reliability.